And welcome to this edition of ACAP Today for Thursday, the 23rd of April. I'm Jason Parent with the Aroostook County Action Program. It's a pleasure to welcome you all today. Today, our guest as we continue Community Partner Week is Dan Brennan, the Executive Director of Maine Housing. We'll have Dan on in just a minute, but first, as we always do with this program, we want to bring you some news you can use today and information on how we can connect you with help during this COVID-19 pandemic period. First, we want to remind everyone of a program that we'll be talking about with our featured guest in just a minute, the Home Energy Assistance Program. We've been scheduling a number of additional appointments for folks who have been impacted by COVID-19, and thanks to our partnership with Maine Housing, we're able to serve more individuals at this time. We brought on additional staff to help in this area, so we certainly encourage you, if your household income has been impacted by COVID-19, to reach out to us at 764-3721 so that we can see about scheduling an appointment to get you registered for this program. Next, another program that is helping a number of folks is our Women, Infant, and Children's program. We've seen 30 new households apply for and enter into this program this month alone. We certainly welcome families with young children who are experiencing any hardship at this time to call us about our WIC program, 764-3721. Again, and see if we can provide you with some assistance through the WIC program. All of these, both HEAP and WIC, and all of our services right now can be delivered remotely, so we can do it right from the comfort of your own home. We are also helping folks access the stimulus payments, the economic impact payments. If you have not received your stimulus payment automatically and are concerned about that, please do call us. We have a number of individuals who are helping with this initiative, and we are able to help you enroll right online. We'll take the information for you. We will not keep that information, and we will just complete the IRS form online for you and send that along so that we can get your stimulus payment to you. We also are, through our workforce development team, offering a number of online training opportunities. We've talked about these on past editions of ACAP Today. There are 2 remaining in the series. Next week is how to create the perfect resume and interviewing tips on May 7th. These are all offered via Zoom. Please contact Kathy Williams at the email address on your screen if you would like to register for next week or the week after's class. They're great informative classes and will certainly help folks who may have been impacted and their jobs impacted on the other side of this pandemic. We're also partnering with New Ventures Maine on a number of free online trainings. New Ventures Maine will be our guest tomorrow on Community Week here on ACAP Today. But here are a number of workshops that they are offering, and we certainly encourage you to connect with them. Their website's on the screen as well. We also want to let folks know from our prevention team that the typical drug take-back day that's usually held in the spring and in the fall, and usually around this time of year in the spring, is not being held this year for obvious reasons and to ensure maintaining of social distancing. But we want to remind community members to please don't let your medications end up in the wrong place. If you have unused, unwanted, or expired medications, you can bring them to your local law enforcement agency or at pharmacy drop boxes at any time. And finally, this time of year is also the time that we're usually registering students for a new year of Head Start and a new season for early Head Start. If you are a mother who is expecting or have a child in the household through the age of 5, please do reach out to us if you are interested in accessing our Head Start services. If you are closer to the communities of Holton, Caribou, Presque Isle, or Fort Kent, or even Madawaska, we can certainly do center-based Head Start programs with you. But if you are in one of the outlying communities and cannot access those services, or we don't run buses out to you, please do consider giving us a call, because we have home-based early Head Start and Head Start services available as well. So don't count yourself out. If you're in one of the outlying communities, we can reach you there as well. All of the registration information can be done over the phone and online. So please contact our Head Start office at 768-3045 for more information and to get that process started. And I'd like to now welcome to our program the Executive Director of Maine Housing, a great friend and partner of the Aroostook County Action Program and Maine's 10 community action agencies, Dan Brennan. Dan, welcome to ACAP Today.
Good morning, Jason. It's great to see you. I'm just so impressed every time I get to interact with any of our community action agencies. The depth and breadth and scope of what you do for your communities is so admirable, and it's great to be with you today, and it's great to help you accomplish your mission in Aroostook County.
Well, that is certainly the case, Dan. We are fortunate to partner with Maine Housing on a number of programs, and that has been even more pronounced in this time of COVID-19. But for folks, because a lot of folks interact with Maine Housing through either their local CAP agency, their local housing authority, perhaps their local homeless shelter. So help people understand a little bit about, even in non-COVID times, what is Maine Housing and what does Maine Housing do to benefit the people of the state of Maine, because the programs are wide and many.
They are. We just celebrated our 50th anniversary last year. Maine Housing is what's known as a quasi-independent agency of the state. In layman's terms, I look at that as we're the state's affordable housing bank in many ways. Our mission is to help Mainers throughout the state with their affordable housing needs, whatever those may be. So on one hand, we are a bank. We provide mortgages through a host of different lenders around the state for people who want to buy their first home. So you go to a local lender in your area and you would purchase your first home, and we'll buy that loan from the bank. The interest rates are very attractive, and we provide $3,500 of down payment assistance for that. We also help developers around the state create apartment buildings, build apartment buildings, acquire them, rehab them, and make them affordable for people throughout the state. And so that's primarily our banking side. We don't receive funding from the state to survive. We actually issue bonds on Wall Street, and we make mortgages at a slightly higher rate, but still very competitive than what we have to pay our bondholders. And that's kind of how we survive. We help over 1,200 people a year buy their first home, and we help hundreds and hundreds of people find new rental housing through the new apartments that we create. So that's our banking hat. The other hat, Jason, that we wear is we're an administrator for the federal government of a host of federal programs that many of your clients and folks that you help access. And community action agencies are very helpful in helping us administer those programs. Over $150 million a year through heating and weatherization assistance. We provide vouchers directly out of our office for areas where there's not a local housing authority. So for example, you have Presque Isle Housing Authority and Caribou Housing Authority, Van Buren. Any areas outside of those areas will help with housing choice vouchers. And we also support a number of homeless shelters around the state. And so we're just we're very big, we're very diverse. One location here in Augusta, Maine, 170 people. And we have remained open for business during COVID-19. 85% of our workforce is working remotely. Our website, www.mainehousing.org, ton of information there, and I invite anybody to go take a look at it.
Dan, you say you've remained open for business, but not only have you remained open for business, I say this of our team, during this darkest hour, I think it's perhaps our finest hour in terms of the work and the output of staff, but you are doing a lot of really innovative things with partners across the state. And one of them that I wanted to chat with you about, because I think we're both finding, both the community action agencies and Maine Housing, is that we're dealing with individuals who we haven't dealt with before, families and households that we haven't dealt with before because of the crisis. And one of those areas is your COVID-19 response in partnership with the governor's office and the community action agencies around rental assistance. So talk a little bit about that program.
Sure. When this pandemic hit and we saw the numbers of people suddenly unemployed, the numbers are startling. And there isn't, I'm sure there isn't anybody that someone doesn't know who hasn't been affected through losing their job or what have you. So we just knew right off that a number of people are simply going to have trouble making their rent payments for April or for May. We had to do something in the short term before the stimulus money came and before unemployment checks started to roll. The Department of Labor is simply heroic in what they've been doing, but it takes time to process all of this. So we knew time would pass. And the foundation of housing are landlords, and our landlords need to make sure that they have money to pay their mortgages, and renters need help making that payment. So what we did is thanks to Maine's legislature this year, we were fully funded in our home program, which is a portion of a tax that is collected in every real estate transaction in the state. And we get a portion of that. And we were fully funded this year, and we were able to use some of that money, $5 million, where we stood up very quickly and with the help of our community action agency partners, a one-time payment of up to $500 for anyone who's impacted by COVID-19. It is a very simple process. Go to our website at mainehousing.org/COVID rent. There's a one-page application that is filled out. Nothing has to be done in person. The application is submitted online. It is then sent out to the Community Action Agency, who will be in touch with the applicant. They'll be in touch with your landlord, and they will affect the payment of up to $500 of what is needed. And it's meant to be a bridge. It's not meant to be the complete solution to all problems, but it's something we could do very rapidly. We work very close with Governor Mills directly. There was 4 or 5 times where she would be on the phone with us for about an hour because she's very interested in the details, super supportive of this. The program is up now, and over 3,500 applications in less than a week. And so thank you so much to all of you at ACAP for the piece that you're doing. And we're very proud of our ability to be fast and responsive to a need that exists out there.
Well, thank you. I know that we had Randy Rattray and Shannon Hill. We actually have our housing team who right now aren't necessarily able to be in homes as they typically are to prepare homes for weatherization and the like right now. So we've actually transitioned them to doing this work. And I don't know about your staff, but I can tell you that the feeling like they're doing something that's helping folks right now is really what's driving them. I mean, they are killing themselves to get these applications out the door and to contact the landlords. And there's again, despite these difficult times, there's an esprit de corps with our staff that's just phenomenal. And I think your team at Maine Housing is finding that as well.
Everybody wants to do something to help. And as you had mentioned, we also have some staff here that do most of their work out in the field, and they're unable to perform that work. We haven't laid anyone off, and we've kept everyone on payroll, but we've been able to call in people who can't perform their normal jobs, and they are just absolutely thrilled to be able to jump on a computer and help process these applications. It does give you a sense that, okay, I'm helping tangibly today. And it's very fulfilling, and drives a lot of us here. So we have very similar corporate cultures, I would say.
One of the other areas that Maine Housing has been instrumental in is that as the COVID-19 situation has happened and social distancing, the state's homeless shelter network has really been in a bit of a pinch. And so Maine Housing has helped to bring up some additional emergency wellness shelters, if you will. Talk about that effort, because that's been Herculean and very quick.
It has, and it has been, we were talking earlier, Jason, homeless shelters are not designed for social distancing. People experiencing homeless oftentimes get a lot of comfort from interacting closely with other people who are going through similar situations. And here's a situation where the physical space that's provided to shelters does not accommodate social distancing, and the culture is not conducive for social distancing. Yet, in this pandemic, we must remain socially distant. So a few things that we have done at Maine Housing. We have created a shelter operating grant program where there are 37 shelters in the state. We've immediately made contact with all of them. And so far, almost 20 shelters have reached out and said, you know what, I need more money for this. I need more money for that. I need to retain my staff. I need to pay overtime. And so to almost the tune of $500,000, we've been able to grant money out to those shelters to just keep the lights on and keep the operations going, let alone the above and beyond. The above and beyond is really the wellness centers. And these are other physical locations that have been stood up, we called with the help of the University of Maine system and other municipalities, we have opened temporary wellness shelters. This is where people who are not affected by COVID-19 but are experiencing homelessness can simply socially distance from one another. We need another location, we need more space. And so working with the folks at University of Maine at Presque Isle and your agency and the whole community up there, we've been able to accomplish a wellness center in Aroostook County. We have one down in Portland. I just signed a contract a few minutes ago for the Lewiston area, and we've been working very hard with the people in Bangor, and there are others. These are not inexpensive, but we have been blessed through our congressional delegation with extra funding in a funding source we get from the federal government called the Emergency Solutions Grant, and we're putting that money right to work for these wellness centers. And the last component, inevitably, there are going to be either people who become sick or have contact with people who have become sick, and they need to be isolated or quarantined. And there we are looking to develop relationships with hotels and motels around the state. This is all in very close coordination with the folks from the Centers for Disease Control, the Department of Health and Human Services, and the folks at Maine Emergency Management Agency. I can tell you the partnership at the state level is unprecedented in these times, and everyone is working together along with the governor, Dr. Shah, and the whole team is all pulling in the same direction. So we're very proud of the ability to make these facilities operational in a very, very short period of time. It is a life and death situation, and it's very, very serious, and one that we just working 24/7 to accomplish what's needed.
I know it's something that we're very passionate about. As a matter of fact, we have a board meeting this afternoon, and the lead of our facility, of our wellness shelter, is going to be taking our board through a virtual tour of the facility via Zoom this afternoon. So we're going to get to have our board see the wonderful partnership that we've been able to develop with you and the university and the city here in Presque Isle and emergency management and many other partners who have come to the table. And the generosity of the community, Dan, has just been tremendous. We had a community member on Sunday who reached out to the head of the center, knew the head of the center, and said, my family wants to buy pizza for everyone in the wellness shelter tonight. Just, so I think people have really come around to supporting the need of especially the vulnerable population at this time.
Jason, we got a call a week or so ago from Commissioner Randy Liberty at the Department of Corrections, and he said, we're making masks in our correctional facilities, and we'd like to use Maine Housing as a way to disperse those masks to needy populations. So tomorrow we're going to receive a shipment of 1,200 masks from the commissioner himself to distribute out to our elderly housing facilities, our homeless shelters. That's part of an overall delivery of 7,000 that we expect. So there's just a case where everybody is stepping up saying, how can I help? And everyone's talking to everyone and helping those that are in need. Wow. That's a great story.
It certainly is. One last program that we wanted to make sure to touch on, we talked about at the top of the broadcast, and we've been reminding constituents and our customers here in Aroostook County about this, is the Home Energy Assistance Program, which right now, I mean, it was certainly below 32 degrees here in Aroostook County this morning. There was frost on the windshield. So wanted to give you a moment to talk about the Home Energy Assistance Program and how that is able to help folks at this time.
Winter will just not allow spring to come, will it?
I was not seeing that.
I had a snowflake. I'm in Augusta, and I had a snowflake fly by my window yesterday. I'm like, boy, you got to be kidding me. The Home Energy Assistance Program is just a vital program to keep people warm throughout the winter months in such a harsh environment that we have here in Maine, and you're all too familiar with it where you folks are. This program is available. The deadlines have been extended. One of the interesting facts, Jason, and we've known about it for years, is only about 25% of the people that are eligible, income eligible to apply for the program in Maine and nationally actually seek the assistance. The money is there, it is available, it provides an average of about $800 or $900 per person. Apply to your community action agency, go onto their website, go onto our website. There it is on mainehousing.org /HEAP. It is a vital program, and it's also a program where more money is coming to the state of Maine. We expect about another $9 million to come to Maine. We usually get a total of about $37 million that you at ACAP and others around the state help us use. It's so important, if you are eligible, to apply for the HEAP program. Not only will it help you stay warm in the winter, but it opens, there are a number of other side programs or tangential programs that would be of help to many people. Home weatherization, emergency heating assistance, assistance to help clean or tune or evaluate your heating system, sometimes even replace it. So it's just such an important program, and we encourage everyone to take a look at it.
And we always want to remind our community, as we always do with this program, that it is an assistance program. And we hope that you do reach out for us. And as it just said on the slide there, even though we're heading into what we hope soon will be warmer months here, the benefit, if you are eligible for the benefit remains with the fuel vendor that you work with regularly. And so it will be there in the fall. We receive obviously a high volume of calls in the fall and in the winter when people have to start turning up their thermostats. But in the fall and early winter months, we're working with the most vulnerable in our population. So we're working with the elderly, we're working with families with very young children. So now is really a great time. And as Dan indicated, if you haven't thought about this program before, there's a huge number of people who are eligible. And that number has grown not only because of COVID-19, but because the income guidelines have changed with the program in the last year or so. If it has been a few years since you've applied, perhaps during American Recovery and Reinvestment Act funds when the guidelines were a little bit more generous, then you may qualify now. So please do give us a call at your local community action agency and see about accessing that program. We're going to be taking appointments here in through the spring months, and we welcome that call from you. Dan, what have we not covered that you wanted to share with the people of Aroostook County and others who are watching this broadcast about the great work of Maine Housing during this unusual time?
Well, the general message that we have been giving out is this is a scary time, but it's also a time where everyone can come together to help each other out. Banks are worried about their bottom line. Landlords are worried about keeping their home. Homeowners are scared. Can I make the mortgage payment? Renters are worried. How am I going to make my rent? This is a time where everyone has to work together. If you're a tenant, you're having trouble paying your rent, talk with your landlord. Landlords, talk with your banks. No foreclosures, no evictions. Now's not the time to do that. Now's the time to think about how we're all going to collectively get through this and come together as a community. The work of the community action agencies and ACAP is so invaluable to every community in Maine. Maine Housing is thankful to be a partner with you. Our website, mainehousing.org, is filled with information on anything we may not have talked about today. Please check it out. And thank you very much for having me, Jason. It's always good to talk with you, and thank you for everything that ACAP does.
Thank you, Dan. It's a phenomenal partnership, and the work of your team at this time right now and making things happen and making them happen quickly as people are in need is just phenomenal. And so I want to make sure that you understand that we express the thanks on behalf of our 160 employees across Aroostook County and the people of Aroostook County who are benefiting from so many of the programs that you and your team administer. So thank you.
Great.
And before we leave you today, just a reminder that AroostookCommunity.com is a site, a location where you can go to receive help or to offer your assistance. It is a site that was brought up by the Aroostook Health Network, which ACAP is a part of, and a number of other community partners. Their logo is on the bottom of your screen there. Please, if you have a query or you have an issue that you're dealing with, go ahead and post it on the website. If you cannot access the website, please call our main line, 764-3721, and we will be able to triage that for you over the phone and help you out. We have staff standing by who can connect you with services, or if they are unaware of the services or you need assistance, like someone to deliver groceries to your house, they'll post it on aroostoocommunity.com for you, and someone will reach out and provide that assistance. And lastly, as Dan pointed out, we are all in this together. Please do reach out to ACAP at acap-info@acap-me.org if you have a question. Visit our website. Also visit our YouTube channel where you can see past broadcasts of ACAP Today, as well as some wonderful educational lessons that are provided by our early care and education professionals, as well as our prevention services staff, and those are available for community members at large. And also check us out on Facebook at this time. We're posting regular updates there on programs and services that are available at this time. And finally, we end our broadcast as we do each day with our snapshot of the day. And today's snapshot of the day is called the ACAP Bunch. Yesterday, through the great talented efforts of our development and communications team and the wonderful vocal musings of actually Aaron Benson, who oversees our HEAP and WIC program, you can check out the 1-minute video that's the spoof on the Brady Bunch opening theme sequence, featuring ACAP individuals both in action and their faces. We sort of thought about this because many of us are meeting, like Dan and I are right now, via Zoom. And so we're all in little boxes, and it's very much reminiscent, for those of us who remember the Brady Bunch, of the opening sequence where they were all in boxes. So check out the ACAP Bunch on our YouTube channel or on our Facebook page. As always, it's a great pleasure to be with you each day. Thank you for watching this edition of ACAP Today. We'll see you tomorrow, where our guests will be from New Ventures, Maine. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.